everyone! In this video we are gonna talk about what tourists waste their money on in Prague. Hope you're excited to save some money. Let me pick up my notes here. And we are starting with water. It is a big surprise to some tourists. Water is absolutely for free because we drink tap water here. That's right, you can just get one water bottle and keep filling it up. That's perfectly fine. We do it all the time. It is 100% safe. There are also public water fountains where you can fill up your water bottles on the go. One of them is located here at the Malostranska metro exit. Problem is that in winter, it is closed. It looks like this. So if you're traveling to Prague between end of October and beginning of April, most likely the water fountain will be closed. It is only opened in summer. Here's another water fountain that you can potentially use in summer. Right now it is winter, so it's still covered. However, I have to warn you guys that this one is also used as an unsanctioned shower. As evident from the soap bar that was once left here in the summertime. I have seen it myself, how people use this water fountain as a bathtub. So yeah, just be aware of that, I guess. Also, water fountains should have a little sign that says pitna voda, which means drinking water. And if a fountain doesn't have that sign, it usually means that you cannot drink that water. I remember when I used to do tours in the Prague castle in the summertime, people would often drink from this little basin where they had water for horses, and no matter how many times I told them not to do that, they just looked at me like I'm crazy and kept drinking from it. So just be aware of that. That can save quite a bit of money for you. So now you don't have to buy water bottles everywhere you go while exploring. Sometimes you have to though. So where do you go? There are a lot of mini markets and corner stores in Prague, but we actually do not recommend going there. Or if you do, make sure to check out if they have normal prices before you make your purchase. To give you an example, in a mini market over there, a bottle of water costs 55 crowns, but in Żabka over here, it is 27 crowns. You guys, we found the most unexpected place where they sell cheap water. It is right below the Prague castle, and it's over here. In the pharmacy, they even have a sign about it. It says 30 crowns for half a liter. Ah, pretty good life hack. Please remember, in Prague, if you want to eat somewhere very pretty and take photos, because behind you there's a beautiful view of the Old Town Square or the riverbank, it usually means you will have to pay quite a lot of money for that. The decades-old travel blogger wisdom says that you should never eat next to major touristy sites or big attractions because restaurants in those areas tend to be overpriced. I'll modify that wisdom a little bit to make it more accurate. If you want to eat with a view in Prague, you will pay more. Usually when a restaurant is located at the riverbank or on a boat or on a rooftop, you will always pay extra because they have higher prices or they charge extra for the entrance. For example, while some rooftop bars in Prague, such as Lucerna, are pretty affordable, they charge you for the entrance. Right now we are on the top of the Dancing House, one of the most famous rooftop terraces in the city, and I have to say it was quite expensive to get here. If you want to hang out here, you have to pay 150 crowns per person as an entrance ticket. If you will stay in that area over there, which is like the glass bar, you don't have to pay for the entrance ticket there, you can just order a drink. But if you want to be here where we are now at the terrace, it is 150 crowns per person plus however much the drinks cost. I have to say it's quite expensive considering the fact some historical towers in the old town and the lesser town cost the same. Of course, you cannot get drunk on top of the tower of the Charles Bridge, but if you were just looking for the view, I guess it is cheaper to go there. Also, when you look up Dancing House Cafe on Google Maps, it misleadingly shows you the photos from the rooftop, but the cafe is located on the ground floor, so beware of that. Strangely, a visit to the Dancing House rooftop bar will cost you roughly the same as the visit to Uprince Terrace, which was called a tourist trap by many. How ironic. There we paid 500 crowns for 2 coffees and a dessert, while the Dancing House bill would have been the same, and we left hungry. My verdict is getting a cheaper coffee and going to Petřín or Vyšehrad might be more enjoyable.
It's a deal. It's a steal. It's silent century.
My next point is going to be about different Prague cards, for example, Prague Visitor Pass or Prague Cool Pass, that allow you to enter many attractions and they cover the cost. You just have to pay once for that card and then you can have it on your phone and then you can go to many different places, for example, Prague Castle, Jewish Quarter, and the entrance will be covered already. We made a video about Prague Visitor Pass a couple of years ago. We sort of dissected it and showed you if you can really save money if you purchase one, but I will summarize it here. You have to really try hard and run around Prague to make sure you can visit at least those attractions that they suggest in their itineraries. It's a lot of work and I don't think it's going to be a relaxing vacation, but if you really like museums and galleries, you will for sure enjoy it. They offer you 70 to 80 plus attractions that you will be able to enter just with this pass. But you will not see all of them. It is impossible. So to sum it up, if you want to enjoy Prague at your own casual pace, you will not be able to do that if you get one of these passes. It will be quite a lot of walking and potentially running. So you will not be saving money, you will be wasting money. They also use subtle tricks to make it look like they're offering you more than what you're getting actually. For example, here you can see they offer the ticket to the Prague Castle, the ticket to the St. Vitus Cathedral, St. George's Basilica, Old Royal Palace, and the Golden Lane. But it's actually one thing. It is just the Prague Castle ticket. You're not saving 450 crowns times 5. You're just saving 450 crowns because the ticket to the Prague Castle covers these 4 attractions. Hope it was clear. Same goes for the Jewish Quarter. You are not saving money on every single synagogue that the pass covers. You are just saving money on the single ticket to the Jewish Quarter Museum. My next point is going to be traveling to Prague around major annual events, concerts, and holidays. Usually during that time, it gets super crowded and super expensive. Hotels and accommodations charge double prices and restaurants get booked out. That could be during the public holidays. I'm gonna leave a list of all Czech public holidays in the description box so you can make sure that your dates of traveling are not clashing with those. But it could also happen that a nearby country has a holiday, for example, Germany. Usually it gets busy during that time here as well. Or there could be concerts or some events that could also spike up the prices for accommodations. For example, last year when there was a hockey championship, people were complaining to us that the prices for accommodations were excruciating. Another way you can waste a lot of money if you're a tourist in Prague is connected to Prague public transport, of course, because if you don't know how to validate your ticket properly or you forgot to buy a ticket and got on a tram and got checked by the inspector, you can get a really big fine. It is about 60 euros or 1,500 crowns. The fine is lowered if you agree to pay it on the spot to 1,000 crowns. You can also get a fine if you forgot to buy a special ticket for your cumbersome luggage or your dog. It is 400 crowns, which is again lowered if you agree to pay it on the spot. And because it is such a common problem, we made 2 videos about Prague public transport. In one we sort of explain the general things you should know about it, how to use it, where to get tickets. And the second video goes through these most common mistakes tourists make while using it. In those videos we talked about these yellow machines mainly, which is where you can get paper tickets. We will link the videos down below. However, you can also get an electronic ticket through the app. And here I just want to reiterate that you have to activate this ticket before you get on the public transport. It could be an issue if you are using metro, because sometimes there is no signal in the underground. So you have to make sure your ticket is activated before you cross the white line on the floor and you get down the escalators. Same goes for the tram and the bus. You have to activate the ticket before you get on the public transport. Otherwise, the inspectors might just catch you off guard and you will not be able to convince them that you meant to activate it when you are already sitting or standing in a tram. They will not care, sadly. They will just fine you. And because the fine is quite a lot of money, I thought I will just speak through the whole process here once again. Hopefully now it is clear. There's another way tourists keep wasting their money in Prague without realizing it, and it's when they keep buying 30-minute ride tickets for public transport instead of buying the one for 24 hours or 3 days. If you know you're going to be taking public transport 4 or more times per day, then it makes sense to buy the ticket which would be active for 24 hours or 72 hours, because that will save you some money. My next point is going to be about taxis. Obviously, taking a cab is much more expensive than using Prague public transport. A lot of the times tourists take it when it is not necessary. For example, to get from one side of the river to the other. Instead of crossing the bridge, they order a cab. Obviously, taking a cab from a street in Prague is a no-go. They do charge a lot of money, but I think it was oversaid in many videos, so I'm not gonna repeat it. You can opt for an Uber or Bolt instead. Obviously, a lot of money can be lost if you choose a wrong exchange place, but picking a correct one can feel a lot like choosing a pirate ship on which you will cruise. So we recommend checking out the rates in a few exchange places before making your final decision. Try to stay around the Czech National Bank and the Wenceslas Square. There are a lot of exchange places here. Weirdly, banks do not offer good exchange rates. Don't know why. I will, in the meantime, pick my pirate name. Maybe it should be Valery the Cutter. But no, turns out my pirate name is Rusty Gunpowder. Comment your pirate name down below. Oh, and by the way, if you want to find out more about Czech money, how does it look like, how to tell expired money from the one that is still in circulation, check out this video we will leave in the description. Just to illustrate how different exchange rates can be on a single street, this exchange place over here buys euro for 17.1, and just across the street this exchange place buys euro for 25.1. Czech Republic's official currency is Czech crowns. However, some restaurants and shops in the city center accept euros at the rate of their own choice. Sometimes it is not a good one. To be fair, they usually inform you about it by putting up a little sign at the cash desk, but sometimes people miss it and then get really surprised that they were ripped off afterwards. Also, when you pay in euros, sometimes they will give you change in Czech crowns, which can be difficult to calculate on the spot if you got a right amount or not. So bear that in mind. My next point can be a little bit controversial because it is going to be concerning the guidebooks. So why do I think it is a waste of money? Modern guidebooks tend to promote a lot of products. So sometimes it looks like a catalog that normally you get for free if you want to purchase something from a brand. But here you are actually paying for the guidebook, and the person who wrote it are getting paid by those brands as well for the advertisement. I don't think you should buy a guidebook which just has recommendations of products or restaurants that paid for the promotion there. You can just find it on the internet. Also make sure that the guidebook is up to date, especially when it comes to restaurant recommendations. So if the guidebook was published 5 years ago, it is probably not accurate anymore. Now let's talk about boat tours. Those tend to be quite expensive in Prague, so I thought that we should discuss it in our next point. There's something you need to know before purchasing a boat tour. Prague River, Vltava, has locks. A lock is a point in the river that boat has to go through to continue further. It normally takes 20-25 minutes to go through each lock. That means when you are buying a boat tour that goes through the whole city center of Prague, you will be going through multiple locks. And that time is calculated in the time of the boat ride. So for example, when we took a boat from here, from Russian riverbank to Prague Zoo, it took us 75 minutes. And because we went through multiple locks, about 40 to 50 minutes from that time we spent standing and not really seeing anything, because when you're in a lock, you're not moving, you're waiting. A lot of people don't realize it and they purchase a long boat ride thinking that they're gonna be cruising the whole time, but that's not true because you just have to go through locks. Or the boat has to go in circles, which is usually the case of shorter boat rides under 60 minutes long, because then the boat is not going through any lock, they would just simply be wasting time. So instead they only go halfway through the city center and then go in circles. There are two riverbanks where big boats normally leave from, and that's here, Russian riverbank, and Dvořák riverbank, which is all the way there. You can see it here on the map. Boats that leave from here, that go for a shorter boat cruise, normally don't make it under Charles Bridge because there's a lock there, so they take a circle and they come back and keep going in circles. But boats that leave from Dvořák riverbank, make it under Charles Bridge and back. So yeah, sometimes people just don't realize that if they take a boat ride from here, they don't always make it all the way to the Charles Bridge by boat, but that's what you get. Obviously, there are also smaller boats. There's, for example, Prague-Venice boats, which is the most historical company that exists in Prague, and they go through Čertovka Canal, but not all the way through the canal, obviously, because there are mills there. They cannot go full circle, so they make a U-turn on Čertovka Canal. And there are also ferry boats that leave from Naplavka. This is more of a public transport boat. You have to get a ticket there. It's much cheaper, but the boat ride is really short. You're basically just going from one side of the river to the other, sometimes with a stop in between. So now you know, guys, make sure you book a correct boat ride. If you want to go for the longer boat ride, bear in mind that you will be going through the river locks. One of the most expensive things you're gonna purchase in connection to your Prague trip is, of course, accommodation. We've dedicated the whole video to this topic, explaining different places where you can stay in Prague, and gave you our top picks for hotels and hostels in the articles I'm gonna leave down below. Check them out. They have affiliated links. Hope it's clear. Now to the bane of my existence. Skip the line tickets. I think in most cases they are a waste of money, because the only line you will be skipping is the line to the cash desks. And in case of, for example, skip the line tickets to the National Museum and the Prague Zoo, you can simply buy the ticket online, and by doing that, you will avoid the only line you could potentially skip, and that's the line to buy ticket. In the Prague Zoo, when you arrive there, the only line there is the line to buy tickets at the entrance. So if you buy the ticket online, you are successfully avoiding that and just going through the turnstiles. Same goes for the National Museum. Regarding the Prague Castle, it is a bit different, because no skip the line ticket to the Prague Castle will allow you to skip the lines to the attractions. So if you buy a regular Prague Castle ticket circuit that covers the 4 main attractions, you will still have to queue to enter. So why do they offer skip the line ticket to the Prague Castle? Well, the line you are actually skipping is again the line to buy tickets. So the skip the line service is essentially you paying for the tour guide to get tickets instead of you quicker, and then hand them to you so you can go and queue up to St. Vitus Cathedral and other historical sites.
Do you think that there is a corner of this earth that you could travel to far away enough to free me from this torment?
Another thing that tourists can waste a lot of their money on is overpriced souvenirs. And I don't just mean souvenir shops that are located next to the major tourist attractions. For example, in the Old Town Hall gift shop, they sell a t-shirt for 1,000 crowns and a beret for 2K. Are we okay? I mean, if you can afford it, buy it. I'm not telling you not to buy it. This is more for my lawyer. If you're looking for a basic souvenir like a magnet and a keychain, Havel's Market, which is the oldest still functioning market in the Old Town, is a great place to go. You can have a look at their stalls and choose the best price for you. Just remember, bring cash, because a lot of them don't accept cards, and we all know where these souvenirs come from, right? If you're looking for handmade souvenirs, just be aware that they tend to be a little bit more expensive than the Chinese ones. That's common sense, obviously. And you will have to search for separate stores where they sell them. We made a video about it. We can link it down below. You can check out these ones. Since we made this video, though, we discovered a couple of other stores. For example, in this video about shopping that we made, we went to Prague 7 and found this cute store where they sell handmade Czech products. If that's up your alley, you can check them out. They're pretty cool. But again, these are not going to be super cheap souvenirs, obviously. If they were handmade, somebody made an effort and made them for you, so that should be paid well.
Little souvenir from the old hometown.
My next point is going to be about experiences, interactive museums and exhibitions. There are a lot of them in Prague nowadays. For example, Pilsner experience on the Wenceslas Square, or Back in Time in my shopping mall that offers you a 1,200-year deep dive into Czech history, or Story of Prague next to Charles Bridge. It is important to remember that while you might learn some historical facts or an insight into Pilsner production, going to these exhibitions does not equal going to a museum, because most of the time they do not have any historical artifacts. They have boards with information and interactive elements For example, if you go to the Mozart experience in the lesser town, you will learn how people play musical instruments and things connected to that. But again, you will not have any original things that Mozart used to own inside. I'm mentioning that because of the amount of bad reviews that these experiences get when people complained that they thought that they're going to be going into the real deal, that they will maybe see part of the brewery on the Wenceslas Square. But no, there is no brewery inside of the Pilsner experience. It is an exhibition about Pilsner beer where you can also try it. But that's different than going into the actual brewery in Plzeň. There was a review that was left by an archaeologist about the story of Prague, where he complained that he thought that he will be seeing a lot of historical artifacts, but that's not the case. This is again an entertainment. If you want to see historical artifacts, you should go to the National Museum on the Wenceslas Square. Interestingly, it is cheaper than the story of Prague exhibition. I don't know why. They probably invested a lot of money into it. This dog has been barking here for the whole time. Just throw the ball, man. Just throw the ball. So please, before buying a ticket, make sure that that particular museum or an exhibition is indeed what you wanted to spend your money on. Don't be fooled by the fact that some of them are actually called museums. It doesn't always mean that they have historical artifacts inside. And yeah, just beware that a lot of the times the entrance tickets to these experiences and interactive exhibitions are pretty expensive. And I guess just calculate all the pros and cons and decide before you buy. We just checked, and the entrance ticket to the Pilsner experience on the Wenceslas Square is a little bit over 500 crowns, and the ticket to see the actual Pilsner brewery in Plzeň is 380 crowns. Not sure how these prices are formed.
It's just money. It's made up.
Our last point is going to be about discounts. Don't forget to take advantage of the early bird discount to Prague Towers and certain historical sites such as Clementinum Library and Astronomical Tower Tour. If you're a student or a senior, don't forget to bring your ID or student ID when you're traveling to Prague. You can save quite a lot of money on tickets to galleries, museums and major touristy sites, for example, Prague Castle, but you have to prove your age, so please don't forget the ID or the student card. In the Prague Castle you also can get a family ticket, so that will save you quite a bit of money as well. Me and Václav will not get any big discounts today, but we can get a small one because we have these. So this is not relevant for you guys if you are a tourist, because this is a Prague public transport pass, which allows you to get a small discount, for example, to this tower that we are going to climb now. Very excited. Well, here we are. Let's have a look. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. We hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to check out our tours that we will link down below if you're visiting Prague. We do them every day, and we will see you in our next video. Bye!